Good to see you, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a good day. Thank you. I just really want to say thank you so much for everyone who watches these, for everyone who's developed such an interest in the Hebrew alphabet and the Hebrew language from watching these teachings, and just the people who've commented and come back to me and ask questions and, just want to learn more. That really people just want to learn more. And I think that's what happened with me is once I started looking into these letters and the alphabets and things, I was like, no, I want to know more. And so you research and research and research, and it's just incredible. I mean, it really is. It's just amazing what you learn and what God has shown me, and just the revelation that has come through some of the things that I've learned. So welcome to that journey, and thank you for being a part of that journey. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So today we are looking at the 18th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and that is the letter Tsade. And I really do trust that I'm saying that correctly. I have tried to make sure that I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Tsade, that's what it sounds like to me, and that's apparently the way you pronounce it. So, and the pictograph for the letter Tsade looks something like a man lying on his side, which depicts neediness, And actually, the word Tsad means side. So the pictograph actually looks like a man lying on his side. But the word got its name from the shape of a fishing hook or a bird trap. And it's related to the root word sod, which means to hunt, to capture, to catch, to journey, or to chase. And it's one of the letters in the Hebrew alphabet. And I've told you before with some of the other letters in the Hebrew alphabet, it's one of the letters in the Hebrew alphabet that have sort of a dual meaning, where you almost have a choice where you could go either way. And the classical Hebrew letter is formed from a bent nun and a vav, which represents a humble and faithful servant, with a yot representing a hand reaching or lifted to heaven. And so from the way the classical Hebrew now depicts the letter Tsade, the Jewish scribes have taken Tsade to also mean righteous, because the word for a righteous person is tzaddik. So there we go. But because of the whole hunt, capture, journey thing, it's almost as if you have this choice to be sort of the doing the hunting wild kind of side of things, and then, or to choose to be the tzaddik or the righteous person. And that actually is even reflected in the numeric value of the letter. So the numeric value of Tsade is 90. And 90 means to be tested and approved. It means complete judgment and finality. So it's almost as if, you've been tested, you've been approved, you've reached sort of the finality, and you've been approved, which is amazing. Sarah gave birth to Isaac when she was 90. So for her, it was when her promise was fulfilled. So, she was tested and approved, and then her promise was fulfilled at the age of 90. But however, it is also known to be the number of Lamech. Now, for those of you who might not know, Lamech was Noah's father. He was the first man in the Bible the first man in the Bible specifically written to take more than one wife. And he was also known to be rude and quite wild. So here you have this letter, Tsade, and even within its numeric value, you have these two sort of choices represented for you, the kind of wild, rude Lamech type choice, and then the righteous, the tzaddik, the righteous choice. So what the Hebrew scribes have said is, and this is a story within a story. So here is just one of those stories that I often tell you about, which are encapsulated within the Hebrew alphabet. So obviously, just a reminder again that the Hebrew alphabet goes from right to left. Okay. So 4 weeks ago, and again, let me just remind you, if this is the first time you're watching and you haven't watched any of the others, please go back and watch them, because I'm now referencing the previous 3 letters to Tsade. So you will need to have watched those to understand what I'm saying. So in the Hebrew alphabet, you have Samech, ayin, pei, and then Tsade. So you have samech, which represents safeguarding or closure. You have ayin, which represents sight, pei, which represents speech, and then Tsade, which represents righteousness. So what the Hebrew scribes say is that if you read the message in the Hebrew alphabet just from those 4 letters, it is basically encouraging you to safeguard, samech, safeguard and protect your eyes, ayin, from evil, and your mouth, pei, from evil speech, from speaking evil, and then you will be a tzaddik, a righteous person. So the message encapsulated within the Hebrew alphabet, just within those 4 letters, just explains to us how we get to be a righteous person. For the Jewish people, that tells them how they become righteous, and that is by safeguarding what they let in through their eyes, what they speak out through their mouth, and then they will attain the status of being Tzaddik, which is a righteous person. So it's as though you cannot look, and obviously in every alphabet, one letter on its own, doesn't carry a whole word or a whole story. But it's as if with the Hebrew alphabet, there's a story in each letter, and then there's a story that makes up, then the letters preceding it or following on from it make up their own story. And then there are stories within the words that they represent. So there's so much depth and mystery and revelation within the Hebrew alphabet. And no more so than if you look at the specific letter, Tsade. And so phonetically, in the English, it is that sound, as in mitzvah, or as in if you say pots, it's that sound that is Tsade. So I hope that you enjoyed that and that you found that interesting and that was good for you, and it's encouraged you to, watch what you see and what you say, so that because we are all called to be righteous. And the next letter that we're going to look at next week is the letter Kaf, which you might say to me, Sally, we've already looked at that one. This is a slightly different one, and I will explain it to you next week. It's not slightly different, it's very different. But again, just pay attention to because there are a couple of letters from between this letter and the end, where there's almost this dual kind of meaning presented to you, and where you get to choose which one you're going to be. Are you going to be the wild, or are you going to be the righteous? And it's all kind of wound up in this overall story of the Hebrew alphabet. So don't forget to watch the prophetic teaching on Thursday, and then don't forget to tune in again next Tuesday for the next letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Don't forget to reach out to me if you have any questions or queries. You can message me with absolute pleasure. Oh, and also, just a reminder that all these videos are on my website, and on my website, there is a tab that says blog, and under my blog posts, I have typed up given you a vague, exactly what I've spoken, I've typed into a blog post and put it on my website. So if you want to go and just read what I've said, because sometimes if you're anything like me, reading it makes it easier, then you're welcome to go and do that. So have a look at my website, watch the videos, read the blog posts based on each letter, and you will just get all the revelation and more, I'm sure. And if God shows you anything extra or any extra revelation, please message me. I'd love to hear all about it. So see you on Thursday for the prophetic teachings. See you next Tuesday for the next letter. Have a good week. Be blessed. Love you lots. Bye.